As a joke, we call Safe Search the temptation toggle. We do not include the option to turn Safe Search off. Hello lovely people, my name is Emma. Welcome back to my channel, welcome if you are new. Have you ever been typing into the internets, looking for something on Gongle? Or Bing, I don't know your life. Have you ever been looking something up on Google and you've thought, this search engine just isn't religious enough for me? Me neither. I can't imagine many people have. Presumably someone somewhere has thought that at some point, because there exists a Christian search engine. A brand new creation called Glorifind. Someone sent this to me, I thought it was so weird and interesting and funny that I just had to share it with you. So here's Glorifind. It's a beautiful web page, like it looks very aesthetically pleasing. Oh, this is like a little mini about the search engine for Christians. I'm just a little confused, you know? I'm just a little confused about the need and the desire to create this. We provide whole web search results emphasizing truth, encouragement, and family-safe protections. I kind of get the idea if you're a Christian and you're looking for Christian-run businesses to support, or, you know, Christian-run websites to support. If it doesn't matter that much where you get your information from and you want to support some fellow Christians, they highlight known Christian-owned sites with a gold border. So you could be like, I'm looking for a small business to fulfill some need. I want to support a small Christian business. That makes sense to me. There's probably Christians who want to support small Christian-run businesses the same way I want to support LGBT plus run small businesses. So that makes sense to me. I don't understand why it wouldn't just be a directory. So if you're looking for something related to your religion, or you want like a product or service that is owned by a Christian, then you could search for that. But this is an all-web search. This is sort of intended to replace Google for the Christians that want to use it. And that is a little bit baffling. Spring has sprung, my friends, and you know what that means. Something Raid Shadow Legends. That's right, Raid Shadow Legends is the sponsor of today's video. And you know what that means? It means new events, new codes, and rewards for new players. Because it's spring, the tiny little baby new players, they hatch from the egg and join the world of Raid. If you're new to Raid, there is a cute spring hunt going on at the moment. Simply download Raid using my link, please and thank you. Then head to springhunt.playarium.com and hunt for spring things. Complete the hunt and you could win real life prizes like a gaming console or Amazon gift cards, but more importantly, in-game items. Raid is launching a special player celebratory event, an event celebrating players. I don't think I said that in the right English words, but you knew what I meant. It's called Community Weeks, which is really nice and friendly, but most importantly means you can get a free legendary champion. Chronicler Adeline. She's a top tier support who can put an enemy to sleep without even hitting them. To get Adeline, just log in for 7 days between April 11th. Log in for 7 days between April 11th and July 8th. There are 14 days of rewards in total, including a perfect soul for Adeline. If you haven't yet started Raid, I have even more treats for you, if you can believe such a thing. Click the link in the description or scan my QR code. Get insane bonuses only available via those things. They also help me. Thank you. Please and thank you. Again, and please. You immediately get a big starter pack which includes Epic Champion Tyrell from the High Elves faction. After you reach level 25, you get another starter pack which includes Epic Rector Drath. Once again, you only get these most magical mystical rewards by using my link or my QR code. For players new and old, if you go to the promo section, you can enter code SPRINGHUNT24 for some extra goodies. Why can't I speak today? Yourself some extra goodies. You can come find me in the game Spunkledork, join my clan, the Little Duck Gang. Remember to check out the game via my link down below or my QR code. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Raid, for sponsoring this video, and I shall see you on the battlefield. So let's go to the Why Glorifind page that has all the information. This is JT Smith. He's got a very friendly face. He looks like exactly the kind of guy that would make a Christian search engine, and I mean that in a nice way. He looks like a friendly Christian IT guy. Christians have always been keepers and seekers of truth and wisdom. That's a fair thing to say. Maybe not always seekers of truth or keepers of truth. Maybe sometimes they've, penned some changes to the Bible, and it's fine. But the majority of your online activity is currently entrusted to secular companies. Instantly, it's like, I'm starting to understand why this would exist. Because there's some sort of inherent distrust, at least that JT has, of secular companies. like this is clearly saying it would be better if your data was entrusted only to Christian-owned people. And I guess if you're a Christian, you might vibe with that. Plenty of people have done terrible things, especially plenty of organizations have done terrible things in the name of God. I think it's a bit much to be like, are you sure you want to entrust your data to all these secular companies? It's kind of weirdly discriminatory. The data you share, the queries you make, and the information you absorb. Imagine absorbing information from just secular sources without religious bias. Are you crazy? At Glorifind, we believe that Christians may be better served by trusting a search engine company that aligns with their faith. The problem I have with that is kind of twofold. One is that Christianity is so freaking broad. What are the chances that you, the Christian user of Glorifind, that your faith exactly aligns with JT Smith, the creator of Glorifind's faith? Extremely slim, right? Because you will have all these nuances in your faith. Some of them might be quite big discrepancies, some of them might be quite minor and insignificant, but based on where you're from, the culture you grew up in, the church you go to, what denomination you are. So just being Christian is better. It's hard to talk about because as soon as I get to that point, I'm like, they probably do think Christian is better. Just even if they disagree on loads of things, they probably just think that anything owned by a Christian is better than somebody non-religious, than some secular company. I guess it does make sense that some Christians would think that. I just disagree. Well, hi, I'm JT Smith. I seek to serve the Lord. I am saved by the grace of God through Christ's sacrifice. All right, no one asked. No, it makes sense. He's got to talk about his Christian faith as part of why he made a Christian search engine. I'm just pissing around. I'm just being silly. I'm just pulling your leg. I also believe that God abundantly gives wisdom to those who ask. I love to learn, seek, and respond to where the Spirit leads. You can often find me leading small groups and Bible studies. I'm a good, trustworthy Christian guy. The text on this website is all you have to go on, so I have to hammer in as much goody-goody two-shoes, young Christian leader kind of content as I can. It's kind of cringy, right? Bless him, he seems perfectly nice, but it's a little bit cringe. Right now, my day job is search engine marketing, and I go into work every day, extremely blessed to lead a team that pursues excellence in what we do and takes the time to learn, test everything, and absorb information. As a result, I've learned more about search engines than most people. I've also worked on writing content, selling products online, and building websites since middle school, around 2008. So immediately it makes perfect sense why this is the kind of thing that he would want to create, right? He's a guy who has worked lots with search engines. He's also very dedicated to his Christian faith. It kind of makes sense that those things would align and this is something he would come up with. Cool, man, fine. This bit makes me laugh a little bit. I knew God gave me the gifts I have for a purpose. And it all came together when I realised I can build a search engine that serves my fellow believers, Glorifind. First of all, round of applause for the name. Glorifind? That's a good fucking name for a Christian search engine. You'd struggle to come up with better than that. That is a great name. God gave me the gifts I have for a purpose. He has an innate God-given gift to build search engines. This is one of the things that I don't personally vibe with when it comes to religion like this, certainly Christianity, where it's everything good that you do, that happens, that just exists in the world is, you gotta praise God for it. Bro, no, you learned those skills. You weren't, born as a baby as, a computer wizard. You didn't have the internet when you were born. And also, you're a baby. You couldn't even lift your head. God didn't prepare you with the ability to make a search engine. It's just very strange to me. It's no, bro, that was your hard work. You found something that you enjoyed and you worked really hard at it through your life, and that's what led you to make this. It's just weird to me. I don't get it. Anything bad that happens is God has mysterious ways, we need to pray, blah, blah, blah. But whenever anything good happens, even if it's you spent years learning how to code, it's thank God for these gifts he's given me. It's just a thing that I have never gelled with. I don't love it personally. If he wants to believe that, JT, that is absolutely fine. I just, big yourself up a bit more, man. Those are your skills that you learned. How it works, here's the important part. Think of this search engine as a Christian library or mentor, guiding you through a vast library that contains the world's knowledge. Our search engine is whole web, meaning we collect all of the web's information, and that includes secular sources and sources from other religions. But, as the librarian, Glorifind is here to help guide you faithfully. See, this is where I'm a little confused, right? Because, like I said, I'd get it as a directory of Christian resources. Christian resources for answering Christian questions, for discussing Christianity, for finding like-minded religious people or Christian-run businesses. That makes sense to me. As an all-web search that also searches for secular resources, but prioritizes Christian results? I don't get that. I just don't know why you wouldn't use a secular search engine. You'll see a Christian-owned label along with a gold border around results that are Christian in nature. We don't know all of the websites or their owners, but as time goes on, our list of Christian sites will become more and more complete. If you are a Christian website owner, submit this quick form to let us know you'd like the label. So it requires people to kind of out themselves as Christian website owners, which I find a little bit strange. Probably some people might not want to do that if their business isn't related to their faith and so on, if their website isn't related to their faith. It's not like anybody has to. They're only filling this in and getting the gold border if they want it, or if they're overtly Christian owned, but it is a bit weird. And it makes me wonder, so all Christian stuff, all known Christian results have the same, prioritized border to draw your attention to that as the main thing. But doesn't that mean that stuff like answers in Genesis might get? We'll test it. Don't worry, we'll test the search engine. But, there's plenty of dodgy Christian stuff. Is it going to redirect to a Matt Powell video where he says we should kill all the gays? Do you know what I mean? It's just weird. I kind of get it from some perspectives, but overall, I don't think it's a good idea to just sort of say the Christian results are the better results. Which is essentially the point of this search engine, right? Is to highlight Christian-owned websites. Christian results are the important ones. And, why would you assume the Christian-owned websites are the best results? Even as a Christian, if you're just searching things day to day on Google, surely you want the best result full stop, right? You don't necessarily want specifically a Christian result for everything. What if you type in, a history question to Glorifind? It highlights and brings you to some blog run by a Christian who doesn't have any qualifications or knowledge and has loads of stuff wrong related to what you're searching for, but it's prioritized that higher than secular sources. Do you see what I'm getting at? It just seems stupid. It seems unnecessary and stupid is kind of what I'm getting at. So, okay, so Christian-owned results have a gold border. Ranking-wise, we have 3 main levels of discernment that we layer on top of the typical ranking algorithms used by the big tech search engines. Number 1, safe search algorithms are always on. As a joke, we call safe search the temptation toggle, or the devil's drop down. We do not include the option to turn safe search off. That's number 1. First of all, temptation toggle, devil's drop down. Phenomenal naming again. JT said that he has been writing as well for a long time. I get that. He's really good at the little marketing sort of slogans and things. They're fucking brilliant. Temptation toggle, I love that. I'm going to call it that next time I turn it off because I want to look at illicit results. This one makes me laugh. It makes me think it might not be a good idea, and it makes me concerned. Safe search is always on. JT Smith and his team have decided for you as a Christian that you always want safe search on. So you don't have a choice. JT has said that's the right way to be. So already that's its own thing, okay? It worries me slightly, and again, we'll test it out, because safe search isn't a cut and dry thing all the time. It might block adult humour that is, say, perfectly Christian friendly, but is adult themed. Is it going to block stuff related to important healthcare? or education. That again might be adult in nature, but that's just the nature of the subject. The point, obviously, the reason that JT has put this in his website is so that you don't accidentally see a boob while you're using Glorifind. Call me crazy, I'm an outsider. I think Christians should be allowed to see a boob on the internet without anyone freaking out at them. There's a hint of, I think why this rubs me the wrong way is that there's a real hint of purity culture about this, like that as a Christian, you should never even accidentally come across something salacious on the internet, because if you see a boob, you might get a feeling of arousal, and that's wrong and bad somehow, like... Bro, like, it makes sense to want to filter out stuff that is harmful. There's a lot of horrible stuff on the internet, mostly that would be filtered by a normal search engine, like a Google isn't going to show you the darkest stuff. But it's fair that you might want to exclude, like, seeing violence or even pornography and whatever, but, like, have that as a toggle, you know? I don't understand why they would be like, you might be tempted to turn off safe search for some reason. I, JT Smith, have decreed that you cannot. You're not allowed. I know what you're like, Christian, with all that temptation you have, so I'm going to personally save you from it. I think that's what rubs me the wrong way about it. It's like my way or the highway vibes. Like JT Smith speaks for all Christians. Christians in the comments, let me know your thoughts about all of this, please, because I'm dying to hear. My guess is that not all Christians would want safe search to be on all the time, even if they never want to see any pornography or violence or anything like that, which most people don't when they're searching for things on the internet. There are still reasons you might want to turn safe search off if you're not finding the results you need for things like I mentioned earlier, health, discussions of sex, medical stuff, you know? Okay, so number 2, positive Christian ranking modifications. Those are words. Those are all words put together in a statement. I don't really know what they mean. Just like the Christian librarian, we'll try to find high-quality sources from Christian thinkers and scientists. We will give you the most relevant result, even if no overtly Christian source is available. The fact that there's no, elaboration on this makes me confused. Like, when he says, we'll find the best source, is this a bit like the safe search thing, where it's like, JT Smith and his team have decided what the best sources are? How is his website picking what the best sources? And then it kind of says, even if no overtly Christian source is available, we'll try and give you the best one. Which makes me think that if Christian sources are available, you'll get those even if they're not the best ones, right? Like, we'll try and give you the most Christian thing, but if there is no Christian thing that we can find, we'll give you something good. Shouldn't you give them the best thing? This is why I'm saying, why wouldn't you want to use a secular resource unless you're always looking for specifically Christian things? And even then, what happens if you look up evolution and get fucking answers in Genesis? You know what I mean? Like, it's very strange. Number 3 is possibly the most curious and concerning of all. Targeted website removals. There are some websites that either don't care about truth or only care about leading people astray. If these websites slip through the first 2 filters, we ask that you submit them to us, and we either reduce their rankings or remove them from our service altogether. That's so vague, it could mean anything. Their definition of truth is going to be very specific. It's going to be specifically JT Smith's truth. Exactly what he believes, which might not align with what other Christians believe. Does that mean that secular sources, that atheist sources, are going to be deliberately pushed down the rankings? Basically, what all of this says to me is that this is going to be the most biased search results that you could hope for, but biased towards, hopefully, your Christian faith. So, hooray. And that's being kind of paraded as like a good thing. Hooray! Bias. Information bias. That's what we want. As a father of 2, I realised that my kids are going to have access to the internet at some point. Knowing what I do about the internet and search engines, I want to build a service that drastically improves search for kids. And then he recommends an engine called ABC Search, which is specifically safe for kids and has algorithmic adjustments towards facts, learning, and games. So, kid-friendly searches exist. The same way you can put on YouTube Kids as an app onto a kid's iPad or whatever, you can give your kids access to a specifically child-friendly search engine. So what's the point of this section, and what's the point of having Glorifind as that might as well not even be there. It's basically like, to keep kids safe, use a different product. Glorifind makes money from advertisements. Perhaps a bigger impact is to share Glorifind with your community of believers, whether that's family, church, denominational leadership, or your business. Well, I guess I'm doing my part sharing it with you guys, although I'm definitely not advocating for using it. So that's the about. Good news, it has a dark and a light mode. These are the preferences. They're extremely limited. If you go on Google and look at your preferences, you'll notice that there are far more options. That's because JT doesn't want you to have your own choices. You're going to see what he wants you to see, and that's final. The label Christian-owned indicates that we believe the owner of the website identifies themselves as a Christian, and also their website contains or doesn't contain certain criteria. That's the most vague, fucking redundant thing I've ever read. It means that their website contains or doesn't contain certain things. That's what that sentence says. Well, you're letting me down, JT. I thought you had the writing thing absolutely down, but that's not good. Rework that bit. At least he says this, as the owner of Glorifind, I do not know the content of someone else's heart. What's your stats? You have not unlocked stats yet. Oh, look, it's Moses. Cool. The background art's really cool. I wonder, if it's... Did they create it? What should we search? Well, my questions, my concerns are all related around the kind of things that come up where you might have better results from secular results and things like that, and fringe Christian websites and things like that. So I'm going to type in, is evolution real? And we'll see what Glorifind says. Okay, good news. I'm not seeing any of the gold borders, but good news, it seems to be pretty much scientific responses. There's some Reddit and some Wikipedia, as you would expect on any search engine, but that actually looks pretty good. The top results are like Scientific American and stuff like that. That's like, yeah, it's real. Evolution is real. It's a fact. The second result, the Scientific American one, is 15 answers to creationist nonsense. So that's great. That's a bit of a relief for me. Okay, what if I search for, is there more evidence for Christianity or Islam? Bit of a spicy one for Glorifind. Glorifind is a lot slower than like a Google, I will say that. Okay, this is all Quora and Reddit. This is all Quora. One Medium article. These are not good results. No, it's like all blogs. Okay, let's go to Google and see what the exact same search. Quora, Reddit, the Christian Broadcasting Network, Come Reason, the Gospel Coalition. There's actually more Christian search results on Google than there are on Glorifind for this question. Isn't that fascinating? That's the same Medium article that came up on Glorifind. There's actually Islamic search results in the Google one, which there aren't in the Christian one, which does kind of make sense. Oh, that's a good question. What if we're just looking for general information about like Islam or something like that? Learn more about the Quran. Is that how you spell it? I always fuck that up. I know there's like a couple of ways to spell it. Quran.com, Britannica.com. Why is there so much Quora? Quora, okay, if you don't know what a mess Quora is, I've done a couple of stupid videos about it, because it's basically the modern, like, the current surviving, like, Ask Jeeves, something like that. It's just people just asking questions. How do I cure myself of being a demon? You can't. I'll see you in hell. So Quora sucks. It's kind of stupid, but it's kind of funny. It's weird that there is so much Quora on Glorifind, like, that's not a good search result. If there's no good Christian results, we'll give you the best secular ones, and then it's all Quora? That's really bad. That is, like, really not good. Oh, I had the apostrophe in the wrong place. Sorry to any Muslim viewers, my bad. That's weird. There's like one result that is the actual Quran website, Quran.com, which makes sense as a place to go to learn more about the Quran. Otherwise, it's like just Quora. And if I type into Google, learn more about the Quran, a couple of sponsored results, ignore, don't like. That is one thing that I don't like about a lot of search engines, is that they have these sponsored results. Stuff is pushed to the top because they've spent money Doesn't mean that it's the best result. It's really annoying. But it's not that different from specifically highlighting Christian-owned results, even though they might not be the best. I think that's just the same kind of problematic. Okay, we've got the same Britannica, Quran.com, QuranConnection.tv, Unlock Quran. So basically, there are lots of educational and probably Islamic-owned sites out there to answer this question that are not showing up on Glorifind. It would be weird if it was prioritizing Quora, so presumably it's filtering out Muslim-owned websites or pushing them down in the algorithm. And undoubtedly, the answer to this question is going to be better served on a website that is maybe Muslim-owned than Quora. There's no doubt that this is an example of how Glorifind can be bad. Unless you are a particular kind of Christian and you don't want your Christian child to learn anything about Islam. And it's entirely possible that that is the point of why this happens on this search engine. So that's a negative. It also, there's no more. You can't go to the next page. It gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It gives you 12 results. And if those 12 results are almost all Quora, and no good to you, Glorifind is well, tough. I gave you the best that I had, and they're all shit. You can't even look at the next page to see, okay, well, maybe some of the stuff that it's pushed further down the algorithm is actually more helpful, more educational. You can't even do that. You don't get that choice. JT Smith has made the choice for you. That's definitely the worst thing about this. Okay, what else have we got? What about some atheist resources? Atheist Community of Austin. That is a slow load. Okay, it comes up with the homepage, and then it comes up with the Atheist Experience Wikipedia. It's got their Facebook. It's got a fucking Quora article and then some Reddit. So it's basically got the ACA website, the Wikipedia page for Matt Dillahunty, and that's it. But hey, if you're looking up the ACA, it comes up with their website at the top of the results. So that's a positive. There's not a broad range of good results because Glorifind only gives you 12 results, and some of them are always Quora, which is the most terrible thing about this, but that's good. That's good. We can be happy about that. What happens if I look up answers in Genesis? So answers in Genesis does have this gold border, and it's all their website, their Twitter, their X account. It's all their website. It's not really very good because the search results are so limited. The way that this search engine prioritizes results mean that you just get loads of different pages from the same website. You don't get a range of sources. Even within the 12 that it gives you, you don't get 12 sources. You'll get like 10 of these are answersingenesis.com or .org rather. That's not a good way for the search engine to operate either. If you're looking for a range of sources on a certain topic, it's going to give you the same website multiple times. That's bad too. This is not a good search engine. So Answers in Genesis, which is anti-science, frequently bigoted, just dumb, the worst apologetics group that exists, in my opinion, Ken Ham and AIG, the worst, a fact that I'm sure most ordinary Christians would agree with. Those results, because they're Christian-owned, get prioritized by Glorifind, which is one of the things that I was also worried about. So that's bad. That's also bad. Glorifind claims to be concerned about the truth. Answers in Genesis is anti-truth, and it prioritizes their website by giving it a nice gold border and stuff. So, boo, don't like that. Let's see what happens if we look up sex and gender. The very top result when you search sex and gender into Glorifind is a book called Bible, Gender, Sexuality, which seems to be a book about whether same-sex relationships are okay. That's the first result. Okay, so the second result is, for some reason it's specifically Canadian, but the second result is the Canadian Institutes of Health Research. So that's something, although this is specifically about, research. It's a little bit strange, but that's good. Then there's WHO, which is good. And then it comes up with the Labour website, which is kind of funny. ONS, okay. Integrating sex and gender into healthcare. Scottish Government website. The results are really weird, but they're often not that bad, although you can see the Christian bias in the results, because the top result was a book about how the Bible feels about sex and gender, which might not be what you're looking up. This one is Adam, Eve, and LGBT+. Okay. Biased results, but some secular resources. Some good ones, not necessarily the best. Like, if you're looking up just sex and gender, you're probably not looking for ONS statistics. ONS is the Office for National Statistics, by the way, if you didn't know that. Like, I'm probably going to look up the specific statistics that I want, like sex and gender statistics, 2019, blah, 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 UK, whatever. So just looking up sex and gender and having that come up as a search result feels really weird, and just like sort of highlights the flaw in this whole system with the way that it's specifically pushing up and down certain websites based on essentially arbitrary things to do with faith and Christianity, based on J.T. Smith's beliefs. It just feels like, that using the search is pointing out the inherent flaws in creating a Christian search engine based on your own specific faith. All of this would be better served using a secular search engine. A secular search engine, where plenty of people that work there are probably religious and Christian. Like, it's not like the secular ones are anti-Christian. It's just that this Christian search engine is anti-secular. It's very weird. What if we want some resources on sexual health? Sexualhealthdg.co.uk. UK government website for sexual health, reproductive health and HIV services. CDC. This is good. Again, there's just like weird... Oh, the Trevor Project. That's good. Oh, I should type in some gay stuff before we stop as well, just to check. So again, there's a couple of weird things that are like really specific that kind of make me think that maybe they just don't have that many search results that are relevant, but they do have relevant things. It's not, one of my fears was that maybe it would filter out sexual health related stuff because of the sexual in it, because of this like enforced adult filter. It looks like you can find your way to good health resources even using Glorifind. So that's really good. That's one worry that we can let go of. I will compare it with a Google search quickly. One of the top results on my Google search is from the NHS, which doesn't come up on... Oh, no, it does. Oh, no, that's the PHSE one. I wonder why it doesn't come up with the main NHS sexual health services. It's weird, isn't it? Where can I get sexual health advice from NHS? Yeah, it's like not showing any of the main NHS website stuff, which would be kind of the main thing that I would be looking for in the UK searching for this. And I presume it knows I'm in the UK because it's been giving me UK specific websites amongst other things, but like it's just kind of and now because it's all so vague, I don't know exactly what the algorithm is doing. It just sort of said like we filter based on certain criteria. Now I'm left wondering what criteria is either blocking the main NHS page or more likely pushing it further down the algorithm, because that would undoubtedly be a more useful like homepage. The main page for NHS sexual health resources would be more useful than a lot of the search engine results on Glorifind. So why? We don't have any answer as to why. And if you're just using Glorifind, you'd just assume that the results you're getting are the best results. Most of the time they aren't, and that's the main problem with it, I think. Let's finish up by typing something gay. Is it okay to be gay? I nearly put in 2 question marks like I was really worried about it. It's all Cora again, which is worrying. Queertheology.com. That's a website I've never heard of before that I'm very interested in. Is it really okay to be LGBTQ and Christian? Cora. Some blog that says, I think gays are disgusting but still treat them as normal people. There's SJW. Reddit again. And then a website for a gay cyclist, which is great for Alan Shaw. Big up Alan Shaw being a openly gay cyclist, but I don't know how relevant that is to my search. It's Cora, it's Reddit, it's a cyclist, and one queer theology website. And I didn't ask for it related to theology, but I guess everything is inherently Christian related on Glorifind. At least it's not a bunch of Christian websites that say, no, it's not. But at the same time, it doesn't give you any resources to help you. If I search this into Google, some of the suggested search stuff is it okay to be hungry? First result, Advocates for Youth. Second result, National Institute of Health. Third result, Family Doctor. Then there's a Cora. Southern Poverty Law Centre, Anti-Gay Myths Debunked. A website called Being Gay is Okay. The Mayo Clinic. The Trevor Project again. Those are so much better results than you get on Glorifind. So again, it just makes me think that using a secular search engine is just much better than using this search engine. Let's search for one more thing. Let's search for something really Christian specific. And we'll see if it does a better job at providing resources than Google does. Because if it can do that, then I think this has potential as a Christian theology directory. I don't think it should be used ever to replace your normal search engine, your normal secular search engine, because it is using unstated bias. We don't know what bias it's using. We know it's using bias to push certain results up and down the algorithm, and you only get 12 results anyway, and a lot of the time, most of them are bad. Don't use it as your normal search engine, is my first sort of thing. Let's see if it's worth using it for specifically Christian questions. What if we want to know if there's any evidence for the Exodus? Oh, it's so slow. Okay, so Got Questions has popped up with the gold border. I've used Got Questions before, as like almost like a sort of wiki answers kind of thing. It's quite useful for a quick Christian perspective on certain things. It's fairly it's always read as fairly unbiased to me. I found it a useful resource in the past. It is Christian owned. Top result is the Wikipedia page, Biblical Archaeology Society, Biblical Archaeology. Again, that's 2 results in a row that look different, but they're the same website, so that's bad. The Exodus is not fiction, Reform Judaism. Reddit. Bible Archaeology again. Naked Science Forum. I don't know what that is. Wikipedia again. Quora again. So not great. Wikipedia, Biblical Archaeology Society, Reform Judaism, Got Questions. Biblical Archaeology again. PBS. I'm kind of unsurprised that the Rational Wiki response isn't coming up on Glorifind. It's bias that has chosen that, but it's bias that makes sense in the context, so fine. There's a couple of extra Jewish resources that don't show up. There's the Skeptics resource that doesn't show up. AncientOrigins.net. And once we go down past a certain point, it's kind of difficult to compare because you only get 12 search results on Glorifind. I would say not really much better, even if you're looking for specifically Christian results on Glorifind. And if you're not looking for something specifically Christian, definitely don't use it, because the results you get are just generally not good. They don't show a lot of sources that if you use another search engine are just better educational resources. They show the same websites over and over again. They show loads of like useless blogs like Quora, like stuff that is just, and Reddit threads, stuff that is just has no, might be useful to look at, but you don't want flooding your search engine page. Just bad. Generally bad. Biased, inherently biased in just its existence. I think it could be fine as a Christian-owned business directory. As an all-web search, terrible, don't use it. Sorry, JT Smith. I kind of get where you're coming from, but I think you're wrong to do it. Should I type boobs in? This is our final act, just to see what happens. The top result is a Facebook reel. All she does is show us her boobs lately. Access Programmers Forum, boobs rock. Good boob Bible feature. Why our boobs are the very best. Cosmetic surgery partners. I made £8,000 by sculpting boobs during lockdown. I contour my boobs and I love it. Wow, so I think searching boobs in Glorifind might give you more disturbing results than just searching for them on Google. So that's Glorifind. Do let me know your thoughts down below. This seemed crazy to me and I just wanted to share it with you. Give this video a cheeky like if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing so you don't miss future videos. If you want to support this channel and what I do, you can become a channel member. You get some silly little emotes and comment priority. The best way to support this channel is via the Patreon. And with that, I must give a big old thank you and a shout out to my giant chickens and colossal quackers over on Patreon. Especially Conla. God damn it, Conla. Most importantly, have yourselves a very lovely week, and I will see you really soon.